to be honest with you about something. A hug once turned me on more than a kiss ever did. And I'm not talking about some wild, passionate movie scene moment. I'm talking about a simple, quiet embrace where his hand found just the right spot, his breathing slowed down against my neck, and suddenly I couldn't think straight for 3 days afterward. In over 15 years of working with men on their confidence, their relationships, and their physical presence, I've heard this same story from hundreds of women. They didn't fall for the guy who had the best pickup line. They didn't lose sleep over the man with the biggest muscles or the flashiest car. They became obsessed with the man who knew how to hold them. And here's what breaks my heart. Most men, especially men who've been around the block, who've been married, divorced, or just out of the game for a while, they hug like they're afraid of their own hands. Stiff arms, quick pat on the back. Pull away fast, safe, polite, forgettable. And that's exactly why she's not feeling it. She's not feeling you. I'm Dr. Lily Harper, and I've spent over 15 years helping men understand what women actually respond to. Not what magazines tell you, not what some algorithm thinks sounds good, but what real women have actually confessed to me behind closed doors. And today, I'm going to walk you through something that sounds almost too simple to be powerful. But I promise you, it will change the way every woman in your life responds to your touch. We're going to talk about the hug, specifically how to turn a forgettable, friendly, see you later hug into something that lingers in her body and her mind for days. Now, before you roll your eyes and think this is some pickup artist nonsense, let me be real with you. This isn't about tricks. This isn't about manipulating anyone. This is about presence. It's about showing up fully in a moment instead of rushing through it like you've got somewhere else to be. And I'll tell you right now, the men who understand this, the men who slow down and actually inhabit the space they're in, those are the men women can't stop thinking about. So here's what we're covering. First, why most hugs fail and the biological reasons a slow, intentional embrace hits completely different than a quick squeeze. Then specific techniques that make her replay the moment over and over again. And finally, the one move that makes her miss you even when you're not around. Stick with me, because this first part is going to completely rewire how you think about physical connection. Let's start with why most hugs are completely forgettable. Every woman can feel it instantly. The difference between a man who grabs her into a hug and a man who draws her in slowly with steadiness and calm. When a man rushes, it feels desperate. It feels like he's nervous, like he's afraid she might pull away if he doesn't lock it in fast. But when he brings her in gradually, like he already knows she's going to come closer, her body surrenders without her permission. Now, here's where it gets interesting, and this is something I've seen play out thousands of times in my practice, that patience doesn't just communicate confidence. It communicates a kind of grounded, masculine energy that women are hardwired to respond to. The psychology behind it is straightforward. Women are incredibly sensitive to pace and rhythm. Fast movements signal nervousness, neediness, or fear. Slow movements signal safety, control, and a kind of masculine steadiness that most women are starving for, especially from men their own age who've been through enough life to actually have that calm. When a man doesn't rush to close the space between them, he's communicating that he owns the moment. He's not asking for permission. He's guiding her into his frame. And let me tell you, for women over 40, over 50, this is everything. We've dealt with enough grabby, nervous, insecure energy to last a lifetime. A man who moves slowly, who breathes slowly, who isn't in a hurry, that man stands out like a lighthouse in a storm. Here's your rule: never yank, never lunge, guide, place your hand gently, apply soft pressure, and let her body lean into yours. When you set the pace, she feels safe, and safety is what unlocks desire. Move slower than you think you should. Breathe slower than normal. Because when you slow the moment down, she'll replay it faster in her mind later. But wait, there's something else happening here that most men completely miss. Once she's close, where you put your hand next decides everything. There's a reason women melt when a man's hand rests on the small of her back during a hug. It doesn't feel casual. It doesn't feel buddy-buddy. It feels protective. It feels possessive in the best way, like he's saying, you're safe with me and you're mine at the same time. The psychology here is primal, and I don't use that word lightly. The lower back is a vulnerable area. It's unguarded, exposed, close to her hips. When a man places his hand there, it trips ancient wiring in her nervous system. It communicates leadership and strength without a single word being spoken. Most men avoid this spot. They default to the upper shoulders, the safe zone, the friend zone of hugging. But the man who holds the small of her back with quiet confidence, he stands out immediately. She notices. Trust me, she notices. Now, I want to be clear about something because I've had people ask me about boundaries, and it's a fair question. This isn't about grabbing, groping, or doing anything she hasn't signaled she's comfortable with. You read the room. You read her body language. If she's leaning in, if she initiated the hug, if there's warmth between you two already, then placing your hand on her lower back is a natural escalation that feels right to both of you. If she stiffens up or pulls back, you respect that immediately. No questions asked. This is about connection, not conquest. But when the moment is right and you hold that spot with firmness and calm, she'll feel the difference. She'll feel that she's with a man, not a boy. And once she feels that strength, she won't forget it. Now here's where most men blow it without even realizing what they've done. They hug, give 2 quick pats on the back like they're burping a baby, and release too fast. To a woman, that feels cold, forgettable, like he couldn't wait to get away from her. But the man who lingers just a little longer, just 1 beat past the expected release point, he creates a ripple effect in her mind and body that she can't ignore. Here's what most people don't understand. Women are naturally attuned to timing nuances. When you break the expected rhythm, her body responds. If you let go too early, it registers as rejection. If you hold just a little longer, it registers as desire. That extra second makes her wonder, did he want more? Was he into me? Why didn't he let go right away? That question stays with her. And it's that question that turns ordinary hugs into something she can't stop thinking about. Here's your rule. Don't grip, don't cling, don't smother. Just hold the beat 1 count longer than normal, then release calmly. That small delay will feel like unspoken wanting. She'll be the one replaying everything, wondering why it felt so different from every other hug she's had this year. Keep that in mind because it connects directly to the next layer. When your face and your breath brush against her neck, her body responds before her mind can stop it. The hug that feels normal until his cheek grazes hers, or his breath brushes the side of her neck. That minimal, almost accidental contact is absolutely devastating in the best possible way. It bypasses logic entirely. Her body reacts before her mind can catch up. A shiver down the spine, goosebumps, a sudden warmth in her lower stomach. The neck is one of the most sensitive areas on a woman's body. It's intimate, it's vulnerable. And the nerve endings there are practically wired for desire. Most men avoid this because they don't want to cross a line, and I respect that instinct. But the man who keeps his face close, not in a creepy way, but with a calm, quiet confidence, he creates a tension so thick it stays with her for days. Here's your rule. Don't force it. Let your face come close naturally as you draw her in. Breathe steadily. Let the warmth of your skin brush against hers for just a moment, then pull back as if nothing happened. That single touch will be enough to haunt her. She'll be thinking about it at 2 a.m, wondering if you did it on purpose. Let me clear up a big misunderstanding about what happens during the hug itself. Most men ruin the moment with words. They hug and immediately say something. You smell nice. I missed you. Or worse, some nervous joke that kills the entire mood. The second that happens, the hug loses its power. But the man who hugs in silence, who just holds her without saying a single word, that man throws her off balance, because the silence forces her to fill in the blanks about what he's feeling. Women are addicted to meaning. We can't help it. By staying quiet, you deprive her of clues, and that uncertainty transforms into obsession. The hug where he said nothing, where he just breathed slow and steady, her mind goes haywire. Is he thinking about me? Is he feeling what I'm feeling? Does he want to kiss me? Why isn't he saying anything? That cycle doesn't end after the hug. It follows her all day. It follows her to bed that night. Here's your rule. Don't fill the silence. Don't break the tension with words. Hug her, hold her steady, breathe slow, and let the moment speak for itself. When you stop trying to explain yourself, she'll be the one explaining you in her head over and over again. Most men hug like statues, arms rigid, hands frozen, safe, polite, and completely forgettable. But when a man moves with intention, even minimal intention, everything changes. One of the most powerful touches during a hug is when his hand trails slowly across her upper back or shoulder blade as he pulls away. That small movement feels intentional. It feels like he meant it. The slow trail of a hand across her shoulder doesn't feel like an accident. It feels like you wanted her to notice. That tiny shift transforms the hug from friendly to loaded with tension. And because it's subtle, her mind replays the scene, trying to decide, was that on purpose? Was that just a hug? Or was it something more? Here's your rule. Don't stay rigid. As you release the hug, move your hand slowly and deliberately. A gentle trail across her shoulder or down her back as you let go signals to her body that the hug isn't over, even when it is. That lingering touch creates a ghost sensation she'll keep feeling even after you've walked away. Now, I want to talk about something that took me years to articulate properly. And it's the thing that separates a good hug from one that genuinely makes a woman weak. Every woman secretly craves both strength and tenderness from the same man at the same time. Most men get this wrong by trying to be all one thing or all the other. Too soft and it feels weak, like he's unsure of himself. Too firm and it feels aggressive, like he's trying to prove something. But the man who blends both, he creates the kind of embrace that women talk about with their girlfriends for weeks. One arm firm around her back makes her feel protected, held, contained. But a softer touch, maybe on her shoulder or gently tracing the upper back, adds a layer of care and intimacy that rounds out the whole experience. This combination tells her that you're strong enough to hold her, but gentle enough not to hurt her. And that balance, I cannot stress this enough, that balance is addictive. Women don't get it often enough, especially from men who've been through a divorce or a long dry spell and have forgotten that they're allowed to be both strong and tender at the same time. Here's your rule. Mix your energies. Hold her firmly with one arm, secure and grounded, while letting the other hand move with gentleness and softness. The contrast creates a tension her body can't resolve. And unresolved tension is what keeps her wanting more. This next part is the one that changes everything. This is the move women genuinely cannot resist. The hug that makes her miss you even when you're not there. It's not about holding longer. It's about letting go first, before she's ready. When you break the hug while her body still wants it, you create an ache she can't shake. Women are wired to desire what's been taken away. If you give everything all at once, she enjoys it, but she doesn't become obsessed with it. But when you pull back while there's still electricity in the air, when you end the hug before she does, you leave her suspended. That suspension feeds her imagination. She replays the hug in her memory, wondering why you pulled away first. Did you want her but held back? Did you feel the same spark she did? Here's your rule, and I want you to really hear this one. Always be the one to end the hug first. Not abruptly, not coldly, but calmly and with quiet certainty. Pulling away with confidence, like you're the one setting the pace, tells her something powerful. It tells her that the hug wasn't hers to control, it was yours. And the moment she realizes that, she won't stop thinking about you. I've seen this play out with clients in their 50s and 60s who thought their days of making a woman feel butterflies were long gone. They weren't. They just forgot how to create that space between giving and withholding. Now, most men kill the vibe after the hug is over. They pull back, look down at the floor, check their phone, or mumble something awkward. All that work, all that presence, gone in 2 seconds. But the man who releases her and then holds her gaze for just one beat longer than feels comfortable, that man leaves a mark that burns. That look makes her feel like the hug didn't end. It makes her feel like he's still holding her even when his arms aren't there anymore. Eye contact is intimacy. It's vulnerability. And when paired with touch, it becomes electric. A hug followed by that slow, deliberate gaze communicates desire. It forces her to imagine everything you're not saying out loud. What is he thinking? Did he feel that too? Why is he looking at me like that? Here's your rule. Don't rush to diffuse the tension. After you release her, hold your eyes on hers for just one heartbeat longer than normal. Not a stare, not a glare, just calm, steady presence. Then let her be the one to break it. That single second will burn into her memory far longer than any words you could have said. I've worked with men who mastered this one thing and told me women started responding to them completely differently, not because they got younger or better looking, because they got present. Let me bring this all together for you because I know that was a lot. And I want you to walk away from this with something you can actually use tonight, tomorrow, the next time you see her. It was never just about the hug. It's about the frame, the restraint, the masculine presence that transforms even the smallest touch into something she can't forget. When you draw her in slowly instead of grabbing her. When you place your hand on the small of her back with calm authority. When you hold one beat longer than expected. When you let your cheek graze hers and your breath warm her neck. When you stay silent and let the tension build. When you trail your hand as you pull away. When you blend firmness with gentleness. When you end it first before she's ready. And when you hold that eye contact just 1 second past comfortable. You're not just hugging her, you're creating a moment she'll carry with her, and she'll want to come back for more. Try this the next time you hold her. Slow your approach down. Place your hand on her lower back, not her shoulders. Hold for 1 second longer than feels natural. Let your face get close enough that she can feel your warmth. Stay completely silent. Let your hands trail slowly as you release. Mix firm and soft pressure. Always end the hug first. And hold eye contact for 1 beat after you let go. Watch how she leans back in. Watch how she catches her breath. Watch how she keeps looking at you differently afterwards. That's how you know it's working. And listen, I know some of you are thinking, I'm too old for this or that ship has sailed. I hear it from men in my practice every single week. And every single week, I watch them prove themselves wrong. You're not too old. You're not too out of practice. You've just been hugging like you're afraid of your own power. Stop that. You've earned the right to take up space. You've earned the right to be felt. So go feel something. If this changed how you think about physical connection, hit that subscribe button, drop a comment, and tell me which part surprised you the most. I read every single one of them. Thanks for being here with me today. Keep learning, keep growing, and keep showing up for the people you care about. I'll see you in the next one.